Hello everyone, I'm Jenna and this is Learn Academic English. On this channel, I help English learners take their language to a higher level, especially for school and work. In today's lesson, I'm going to teach you a phrase that we use all the time in conversation, in the middle of nowhere. In today's short lesson, I'll teach you exactly what this phrase means, what the grammar is, how to use it in situations, and I'll show you several examples. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe if you want more lessons like this one. So first, in the middle of nowhere means in a remote location. What does that mean? That means far away from other places. This describes a place that is far away from other towns, usually surrounded by nature or in a very rural location. This is a very important phrase to know in English because it describes a meaning that we don't really use other words to describe. In other words, if we want to talk about something that's in the middle of nowhere, that's what most speakers will use. And we use it quite often.
This guy's living in the middle of nowhere.
Ow! Ah! You live in the middle of nowhere!
So let's take a quick look at the grammar. The phrase in the middle of nowhere is actually made up of two prepositional phrases, in the middle and of nowhere. Practice saying it with me. In the middle of nowhere. In the middle of nowhere. In the middle of nowhere. Because this is a prepositional phrase, we can use it in a couple of different ways in a sentence. We can use it after a verb. We were driving in the middle of nowhere when our car broke down. When I was a kid, I lived in the middle of nowhere. We can also use it after the verb be to show location. Where are you? I don't know. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Sure are in the middle of nowhere.
And we can use it after a noun to describe that noun. I want to buy a cabin in the middle of nowhere. We took a walk in the middle of nowhere. Let's see a little bit more about the meaning before we look at some other examples. So this phrase is considered informal, but we can use it in many different situations. It's definitely not considered slang. It's used by people of all ages and in many situations. What about the connotation? Well, it's not really a positive or negative connotation because it depends on the situation. For example, if you are lost and you are driving somewhere and you are far away from any town, then being in the middle of nowhere would be a negative thing, right? For example, I don't know where I am. I've been driving for an hour in the middle of nowhere.
Here we are in the middle of nowhere.
We're in the middle of nowhere.
So we're stuck in the middle of damn nowhere.
But if you are maybe camping and you want to be in the mountains and you want to be far away from other people, then you could describe that place as a beautiful, isolated place in the middle of nowhere. And that would have a positive connotation. So for this phrase, it just depends on the situation. In the United States, this phrase is actually quite common because the United States is a large country with a lot of isolated places where there aren't many people living. So it's actually pretty common to drive or go somewhere and find yourself in the middle of nowhere. Let's look at some example sentences. Recently, I traveled to the states of Idaho and Oregon. Some days we drove for hours and didn't see a town for many miles. We were in the middle of nowhere. When I was a child, we lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere. We went camping last weekend in the middle of nowhere. The night sky was amazing because there was no light pollution. So tell me in the comments below where you have been in the middle of nowhere. Or do you like to travel to places that are in the middle of nowhere? As always, let me know if you have any questions, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care.